Okay, scene 5 takes place on a heath. We're still in Act 3. There's thunder, enter the three witches, and we meet Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft herself, is on the stage with the witches. And the first witch says, "Why, how now, Hecate? You look angrily." And Hecate says, "Have I not reason? Beldams as you are, saucy and overbold, how did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death, and I the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was not called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art? And which is worse, all you have done hath been but of a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for this own ends, not for you. But make amends now, get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that distilled by magic's lights shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear he hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Then there's music and song within, come away, and etc. Hark, I am called to my little spirit see, sits in a foggy cloud, and stays for me. Exit Hecate. And then the first witch says, "Come, let's make haste. She'll soon be back again." Exit. Alright. And that's the end of the scene. And what did y'all think? It sounds like a lot of couplets. And if you think that it sounds like crap, I agree with you. This is not written by William Shakespeare. It was written by somebody else. Do some research. But you can just tell by reading it that Shakespeare did not get involved in this. It was added later. You can just hear how god-awful it is. Have I not reason, beldams as you are, saucy and overbold, how did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art. Shakespeare doesn't write like this. You can tell Shakespeare by now. You've read enough of him. And this doesn't hold up. It was just added for, I don't know, fun. Okay, the real final scene of Act 3 is outside of Forest, the palace, and Lennox and a lord are going to have a conversation. Word of Macbeth's breakdown during dinner has gotten around, and people are starting to be suspicious that, maybe Malcolm and Fleon, or maybe Malcolm and Donalbain weren't responsible for Duncan's death. And, because sons don't go around killing their fathers. Lennox says, "My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only, I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed. For Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father?" He's saying, okay, Fleance must have killed Banquo because we think that Malcolm and Donalbain killed their father, so that means sons kill their fathers. But we know that this is not true. Damned fact! How it did grieve Macbeth! Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for it would have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. In other words, wasn't it convenient that Macbeth killed the two guys that we think killed Duncan because they weren't able to wake up and speak their part and say, hey, we didn't do it. So that I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as an it please heaven he shall not, they should find what 'twere to kill a father, so should Fleance. But peace, for from broad words and cause he failed, his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear that Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself? Oh. So because Macduff didn't go to the dinner, he is now living in disgrace, and Macbeth is looking for him. And so Lennox says, do you know where Macduff is? And the Lord says, the son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward, with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland, and warlike Cyward, that by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king, that he prepares for some attempt of war. Sent he to Macduff? He did, and with an absolute, sir, not I, the cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums, as who should say, you'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer. And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England, and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country, under a hand accursed. I'll send my prayers with him. End scene. And end of Act 3. Okay, what were they talking about? Scotland's not doing too good. Okay, they're already suspicious that Macbeth might have been the one who killed Duncan, because they're starting to figure out that Malcolm and Donalbain didn't do it, and Malcolm and Donalbain sure didn't kill Banquo, so maybe it was Macbeth? And so where did Macduff go? Macduff, according to the Lord, said that he went to go find Malcolm. Malcolm has been living in England, where King Edward lives. And Malcolm is trying to rally up an army to retake Scotland. He's going to wake up Northumberland, and he's going to find Lord Cyward, who has soldiers, and they are going to form an army and take back Scotland, so that finally Scotland can have meat on the table, and they can sleep peacefully at night without fear of knives, and stop the suffering of Scotland. Now, Lennox says that Macbeth did send for Macduff through messenger, and the messenger was turned away. And so Macbeth is now upset at Macduff and wants to do something about it. And so they pray that, God and Malcolm will come back and make things right. That's the end of Act 3.